Hey guys, JoshOWap here. Today we are going over a beginner's guide to the Waywatcher. Let's get started with the pros. As the Waywatcher, you have the ability to deliver massive amounts of melee DPS. Your primary melee weapon hits very quickly and very hard, giving you the ability to thin out Skaven hordes within arm's reach. Then you have your secondary, the bow, which is a great tool that the Waywatcher can use to thin out any Skaven at range, and even eliminate all upcoming forces in an area. When you charge up a shot, it takes one shot to kill a clan rat. If you don't charge up your bow, it will take 2 shots to kill a clan rat, and 1 shot no matter what to kill a Skaven slave. Now it's time for some cons. Until you get a true flight bow, you're going to have a tougher time taking on Storm Vermin than any other character. As a beginner, Storm Vermin are the hardest Skaven that you will encounter. The reason being that you can only damage them if you shoot them in their head, where they do not have any armor. Against other specials, hitting hitshots pretty much do nothing but kill them faster. Now let's move on to some basic tips. While using your primary melee weapon, remember that some Skaven will end up stabbing you through your vicious hail of sword. Even on easier difficulties, it's better that you get used to blocking so that you can get used to realizing when a Skaven is going to break through your slashing wall. Also remember, not getting hit is every character's best ally, so don't forget that you can dodge backwards and side to side. Now that we are done talking about the basic attack, let's move on to the bow. You are the character that can snipe enemies across map, so use that to your advantage. When coming up on an area, tell your team to hold on for a second, and just start ripping charged arrows into any enemy in front of you. By doing so, that not only is stunning the Skaven horde down, you are also preventing your team from being damaged, as well as doing it silently so that the Skaven horn doesn't blow. Now, for when you need to let your teammates be your teammates. If you run into a Storm Vermin, get out of there by any means, and get to where your teammates are. Doing damage with melee or ranged weapons don't really phase any Storm Vermin at all. So, only attack when your team has them aggro. Time to go over the best weapons for the Waywatcher. Let's start with melee. This is something I have pondered over quite frequently, and I've come to this conclusion. The best melee weapon is a tie between the sword and dagger and the dual swords. Let's start off with the differences. The sword and dagger is doing a little less damage, while the dual swords are going to do a little bit more, but the sword and dagger has more speed. So the decision is between speed or damage. I do believe that they are so minute in statistics that it just comes down to personal preference. Onto the bow. The best bow, hands down, is the True Flight bow. The True Flight bows are head-sticking destroyers of Skaven, great against any special Skaven from Storm Vermin to Ogres. Once you have the True Flight bow, you can literally pave the way for your team. And finally, how exactly do I play the Waywatcher? In the beginning, you can do massive amounts of melee damage as well as range damage to Skaven hordes. Because of that fact, your prime focus should be on thinning out the horde for your team to keep pushing through the map. If you can engage a special, do so seeing as you have one of the most accurate ranged weapons in the game. When they get close to you, block them as much as you can, back up, and relinquish aggro to one of your other teammates. You have the ability from the beginning of the game to quickly provide any packmaster or gutter runner with a quick arrow to release your team members, which in turn makes the Waywatcher a valuable member of the team.